It was almost like I didn't have enough time to be able to create a new program or take on more people. And she was like, Jordana, you need to start to believe that you are divinely compensated for every single thing that you do.
Welcome to the Mindful Method podcast, where we don't just fill your ears, we fill your mind with the tools to enhance your emotional and physical reality. I'm your host, Jordana Sade, here to guide you on this journey of the body-brain connection and help you take your power back to create the life you've always wanted. So grab a seat, because class is in session and our method is on the syllabus. Here at the Mindful Clinic, we're not just changing your mind, we're changing your life. One mindful moment at a time.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mindful Method podcast. It's me, Jordana, and this is part 2 of the 12 universal laws and how we can use them to change our reality, to create the life of our dreams, to create the body of our dreams, the health of our dreams, whatever the fuck you want. Okay, so we finished off with the 6th law. I'm going to talk about the 7th law. So the 7th law, universal law, is the universal law of cause and effect. It sounds similar to the law of correspondence. However, the law of cause and effect is essentially what you give out, you will get back. So like there is a cause and effect to every single thing that happens. What's interesting about this law is that you might not, it's kind of like karma, right? So like you might not actually see the effects immediately, but eventually they will come back to you. Now, the law of correspondence sounds similar. The difference is the law of correspondence is really your external world is a mirror for your internal world. So rather than blaming the external world, let's look inside and change the internal vibration, whatever emotional state, etc., and the external world will shift. This one is more what you give out, you get back. It's not necessarily that like everything is a mirror. I mean, that is true based on the law of correspondence, but this is more like if you approach something with anger or resentment, like you are going to eventually receive that back to you. So the law of cause, a law of cause of effect, I want you to think more like karma, and that and in the what you're giving out, you are receiving as well. So from a body image health perspective, if we're going to use the law of cause and effect, if we are looking around at, I don't know, a girl wearing a bathing suit in a bikini on the beach, and we're judging her, and we're like, oh my God, she has her tits out, look at her ass, whatever it is, like that type of like anger or jealousy or whatever you want to call it is going to come back to you. And, you know, we feel that energy as well. Like that's something that I really have to like work and protect myself around, where the more, and this was really hard in the beginning, where the more I put myself in the public eye, the more I felt criticized and judged. And part of that was like I was criticizing and judging others. And like now that I work really, really hard not to, I actually I'm not even a vibrational match for the criticism that comes my way. It does come my way, trust me. But it just rolls off my back. It's like, I'm not blue, I don't care. Because I'm not approaching life in that situation. It's not, I don't receive it in the same way, whereas if I was approaching life in the situation through jealousy, through criticism, through judgment, through separateness, etc. The law of cause and effect, if we're going to relate it to our body, if we are judging others about their body, then like we are going to also be judging ourselves about our body. And if we are what we are, our state of being, and we aren't what we want, then we're basically just telling ourselves not good enough, too fat, etc. So you can literally use this by this is the my classic exercise I make my clients do. But you know, when you're walking down the street, if you notice somebody, rather than like criticizing their outfit or criticizing their body, like find something you like about their body. Wow, I really like their arms. And like see how you receive that back to you. See how you start to see your arms differently. See how you start to see yourself differently, your outfit, etc. The next law is the law of compensation. I love this law. I love money and money loves me. Okay, so the law of compensation basically states, it's kind of like the law of attraction and correspondence, but it's like you reap what you sow. Now, the reason why I love the law of compensation is because a very long time ago, I was talking to one of my mentors about my business and wanting to make more money and feeling like I was giving so much to my clients, and like, not that they weren't, you know, paying me or giving it back to me, but it was almost like I didn't have enough time to be able to create a new program or take on more people. And she was like, Jordana, you need to start to believe that you are divinely compensated for every single thing that you do. It's not just when you're working with a client that you receive compensation. It's like every time that I give my friend advice, I am like, in a way, living out a vocation, like I'm offering something to somebody, and therefore I will receive compensation back. That compensation can look like maybe she buys me a coffee, right? Like, and then now I'm not having to buy myself a coffee, but we have to be open to being able to receive compensation, not just through our job. And so if you're thinking about the Mindful Money course, we're going to go very deep into this because we can receive money from fucking anywhere. And actually, obviously, like as I started dating, it was really hard for me to like let men pay for the bill. And now I'm just like, yeah, like you got it, man. I'm definitely worth that coffee. I'm definitely, and it's not because like I'm high and mighty or whatever, like they should be buying me things for me or like taking care of me. It's literally that like my energy is worth that dinner. Like being in my energy is genuinely so valuable to me that if I'm sharing it with you, like I'm going to be divinely compensated for it, whether it's through this meal or through some other avenue. And if we're going to get there, then you have to genuinely believe that your energy, your opinions, every single thing that you do for others, not just through your job, but like, you know, giving advice or helping a friend out or taking somebody to the airport, like all of that is you can receive divine compensation for. You just have to be open to receive it. So I love that law. The ninth law is the law of relativity. And this law suggests that we are constantly comparing, or I want to say like judging, I've used that word a million times today. It's like identifying good and bad out of things, but actually the law of relativity states that everything is actually neutral. And this law is really good, especially for body image and stuff like that, because really like if we are judging ourselves for looking bigger one day or holding on to more water retention, or maybe we see the scale goes up and like we start to freak out, we are creating a perception about an experience. But actually every single thing that we experience is completely neutral. You just have that perception based on the things that you desire, based on your programming, etc. But if being overweight or like gaining weight for some people, the pound going up on the scale is actually what they want. Like when I worked with this Olympic hockey player, it was a child. It was a long time ago when I was in sports nutrition. But when I worked with him, like he needed to gain like 30 pounds of muscle ASAP. So like every time the scale went up, we were like, yeah, celebrating. You know, if I were to talk to my clients now, like they're not happy about the scale going up to the point where like if they're not going to be neutral about it, I don't want them to step on the scale. But the law of relativity is really, really helpful because it helps us to kind of like take this third's eye, like this bird's view perspective, this third person perspective, and find neutrality in every situation, recognizing that like nothing is neither good or bad. And actually everything is relative and it's based on our perception, and we can change our perception. So for me, when I see the scale move up and I'm just like, have no idea why, I'm usually like, okay, it's a hormonal thing, or maybe I'm just holding on to more water. Like I never blame the body. I'm never like, this is a pound of fat. Never. I never think or say that because I don't want that to be the reality. And so I've literally just like live in Delulu land, but trust me, it's much better over here. And I'm just like, well, it's going to go down tomorrow. Like it just doesn't, when we can find neutrality in it like that, we can move towards our goals so much faster because we aren't getting worried or anxious or fearful about the things that we don't want. And therefore, we aren't giving our attention to the things we don't want and manifesting those into our lives.
Hi, babes. I am so excited to talk to you about my signature program, The Mindful Method. This is the exact same method that I have been using with hundreds of successful clients to help you heal your relationship to food, to increase confidence, and to lose weight without dieting or killing yourself at the gym. If you're sick of not feeling like your best self, if you're sick of promising yourself that you'll start again on Monday, if you're sick of going on restrictive diets only to gain back the weight, I can tell you right now that if you gained it back, it did not work. You know what's healthy and what's not. You do. You just continue to choose the unhealthy option anyways. And a meal plan will not solve this issue. There is no amount of restriction or discipline or willpower that is going to stop you from self-sabotaging. The body follows the mind. Imagine a life where you don't have to think about what you can or can't eat. Imagine a life where you feel confident in all of your clothes, where every day in every way your body rebalances and you lose all of the weight so you find the truest, healthiest version of yourself. Imagine never having to start again on Monday. This is what happens when you focus on transforming the brain so weight loss is effortless. The body follows the mind, and it's time you actually get to the root cause of your issue. If you are ready to transform and find the truest, healthiest version of you without letting go of your favorite foods, I invite you to fill out the application in my bio. And if you're a good fit, we'll be in touch soon. Back to regular programming.
The 10th law is the law of polarity. And this law is essentially that every single thing that exists has an opposite. So, good and evil, black and white, up and down, it all exists. And the key to understanding these there are two sides to every coin. And I love this one because the way that it works in our life is understanding the contrast can sort of bring more clarity. So when something really, really negative is happening, I'm like, if this thing is so shitty, then there's the opposite of this that exists. I'm going to tell you how I use this to manifest in my own life, and I fucking love it. So we can get really, really worked up in the anxiety or the worry of the thing that we don't want. So a lot of my clients walk around and they're like, oh my God, I'm so big, or I look so fat, or, I'm so uncomfortable in these pants. And it's like, I know what I don't want. Now, what do I want? I'm going to repeat that. What I say in my head and what I offer to my clients and what I hope that you guys can take from this specific law, the law of polarity, is that understanding what you don't want or experiencing what you don't want can actually tell you what you do want. And if we can tap into the energy of, I know what I don't want, now what do I want, and sit in that energy for just a split second, you've immediately increased your vibration. So now you're a vibrational match for the thing that you do want, rather than being a vibrational match for the thing that you don't want, which is just like's going to attract like. You're just going to manifest that more into your life, right? So the actual phraseology is, I know what I don't want. Now, what do I want? And I literally will spend like 24 to 48 hours just going back and forth with myself like this to literally program my brain out of the negative state. And it's for every low, there's a high. For every high, there's also a low. And so when I get into those really, really high states, I don't try and neutralize them because I am a dopamine junkie after all. Like, let's be real. I definitely enjoy it, but I'm also recognizing that, like, as high and as good as this feels, there is the opposite of this that exists. And like, it's very possible that I can bring that into my life. And we don't necessarily want to manifest that, but just creating the awareness out of it so that if we do manifest that, if we are in the opposite state, we also know what it's like to be in the positive state of that. So that's the law of polarity. The 11th universal law is the law of rhythm. This one is similar to the law of polarity and so many others, but the law of rhythm is essentially stating that there is fluidity in everything. So there's a rhythm, there are patterns, there are seasons. It's not always summer, unless you live in California, but it's still not always summer. And we can't always be in a summer season. I had a therapist one time that was like, Jordana, it can't always be summer. And I was like, fuck. Like, we just resist the cocoon, the winter season. I'm not just talking about the season, of course. I'm talking about like the genuine like darkness. I resist the darkness at all costs. I hate it, but I get there, and everyone does. And understanding using the law of rhythm, we can understand that it's not temporary. There's fluidity, there's rhythm, there's patterns. And so when we're in that dark state, it can help us to believe and to use the law of rhythm to know that this is temporary. It's fluid. Like, today I feel like shit, but it doesn't mean tomorrow I'm going to feel like shit, right? So it's just like, sit in your shit for 24 hours, have an adult tantrum, do whatever the fuck you need to do, but also know that the fluidity will help you get out of that. And we always go through seasons. So the law of rhythm is really about understanding the fluidity and the seasons of your life. And the final law is the law of gender. So this law is talking about the masculine and the feminine balance. And I'm going to spend some time here because it is so important. I touched on it in the previous part 1 episode, but every single thing, us, like as human beings, every this microphone, the couch, literally everything that exists has masculine and feminine energy, everything. And being able to understand the balance of the masculine and feminine is really how we can start to balance ourselves. It really is a law of balance, I would say. And actually, a conversation that I had with a client who is Mexican, she was laughing at me because I had, in my very poor Spanish, I was like, "Estás muy bueno." And she was like, or maybe I said, "Estás muy buena." I don't know. And she died laughing because she was like, "Jordana, like you used the wrong, use the feminine. It needs to be the masculine or whatever." And I know this with Italian because they're like some words are feminine and some words are masculine. And it's not just when you're referring to a male or a female, it's like actual things have masculine or feminine energy. And so in other languages, they really highlight this so much better than in English. Like in English, a microwave is a microwave. I don't know if it's male or female, it just is a microwave. But truly, everything in this life has that masculine and feminine balance. And so really, when we're talking about finding the masculine and the feminine balance within ourselves, the way that I like to think about it is the feminine, and this is going to be pretty specific to females. So if you're a male listening to this, like maybe I'll bring a male on to talk about masculinity, but I'm certainly no expert. But from a feminine perspective, you know, for a very long time, I had a very wounded masculine. I operated in the place where I didn't trust my masculine energy. I didn't trust the men around me. I felt like I had to push, hustle, like just like push, grind in order to receive or experience the life I wanted to experience. And yet I was never happy. I was never able to receive. I literally almost burnt myself out. And so the way that I like to look at it is like the feminine energy has an idea, it has a desire. And then our masculine energy takes inspired action, the universal law of inspired action takes inspired action. And then the feminine energy trusts that and receives. And so with a lot of my clients, because this is something I've been working on personally with money and men, but yeah, so with a lot of my clients, I'm really helping them to tap into how to actually trust their masculine energy. And then it gets kind of misconstrued. I know I had this idea before too when it was brought to me. I was like, but like I already do so much. I'm already in my masculine. Like what do you mean? Like my masculine, I have to trust my masculine to do more. Like I don't want to do more. It's not about doing more, right? It's about trusting that if you have the desire, your masculine energy is going to bring it to you. Sometimes that is through inspired action. So for example, I was going through something and I was like, okay, I feel like I want to put out this money course, but like, I'm not a business coach. Like, I only know all of this stuff because like I've had to heal my own relationship with money. And like, we just hit this massive milestone in business. And so it was just like, and I love talking about it, but I don't have any credentials. Like is it weird for me to do this? But the inspired action was really me being like, let me just create a sales page. And like, just like, I'm just going to do that. And then now my feminine has to trust that once that sales page is out, the right people are going to buy it and they're going to end up in that container. Where things get muddled is we end up wanting something. We have this desire, we have this spark. I want a new job, I want more money, I want a new relationship. And we don't trust our masculine energy to take inspired action. So our masculine energy is like working overtime and we're still sitting there being like, I don't have it. Where is it? Oh my God, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? It's like, no, we need to actually practice literally feeling held by our masculine energy. So when I tap into that, I really feel like, oh my God, I can just relax. It's like this like, oh, of course my masculine energy is going to take care of it because they want the same thing I do. So it's just going to come to me and now I just get to receive. And so if you're a female listening to this and you're trying to tap into your feminine energy, what you need to tap into is all you need to do is know what you want and sit back and wait for it and trust that your masculine energy is going to bring it to you, either through inspired action or simply through its own energy, literally attracting it because it's a vibrational match for it. All right, my friends, I had so much fun with these 2 episodes. Again, if you're listening to this and you want to join Mindful Money, it will only be available for like a week. So hopefully you're listening to this. Actually, we'll extend it because I realized that I am recording here in Toronto before I leave for Italy. And so we'll definitely do another sale for it. But Mindful Money is really using a lot of these universal laws and also so many other tools like subconscious reprogramming tools, literally understanding your money limits and beliefs and breaking through them by psychology and subconscious reprogramming and universal laws and manifestation alone. Like, I'm not helping you create a budget. That's not necessary. I'm helping you raise your vibration so you're a vibrational match for the thing that you fucking want. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. And I'm so excited because we all deserve to make fuck you kind of money. Like, let's be real. There is not enough women making enough money, and there's a lot of money to go around. So let's claim it. All right, my friends, I love you so much. If you like this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with somebody who needs it. And I'll see you back on another episode of the Mindful Method podcast. Bye.